In today's episode, I'm telling you how Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually my grandpa.
We talk in detail about the one secret key that enables you to create whatever you want in life that we got from Arnold himself.
And I'm also telling you why I am mad at my grandpa. So I have chosen Arnold Schwarzenegger to be my grandfather of choice.
Grandfather of choice?
Yeah, I think if I would call him a daddy, that would be bad. That would have like all kinds of connotations. So he's my
Grandpa.
grandpa. Yeah.
And why exactly is he your grandpa?
Because don't you know in all these like movies and stories, there's always like the wise old man, like the Gandalf and like the Dumbledore or the grandfather, mostly in like young adult fantasy books, I feel like.
But they all have like really long beard.
Yeah, he's like the bodybuilder version of Gandalf.
Okay.
And he's just like my spirit guide.
He's your spirit guide?
No, I am just thinking he is someone that I keep in my mind as the person to, like, I'm thinking, what would Arnold do? What would Grandpa do? Or sometimes I'm like, let me just ask Grandpa.
Like a good role model for you.
Yeah, a role model, definitely. And someone who I think is like super inspiring and I don't know everything about
Positive
him.
figure in your
Yeah,
life.
I
In your mind.
in my mind.
In your mind.
In my mind, I am actually sitting in his like living room in like a sofa chair, and then he's like giving me life advice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, how did this happen? Like, what inspired you that he did that made you make
Choose him.
your grandpa?
And I'm picky. I'm picky.
I know.
So it all started when we were in Germany to visit my family, and we were looking for something to watch, and I saw there's the Arnold documentary on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And then we were watching the documentary, and it made me just like feel so good.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, the only time I actually growing up, like I knew of Arnold was from the Terminator movie.
Yeah, see, and I had never watched the Terminator movies.
You didn't watch Terminator?
No, before, you remember in Germany, after we watched the documentary, we watched Terminator. That was the first time I ever watched it.
Oh, wow.
Remember?
I did not remember that you haven't watched it until that point.
No, I haven't. Maybe it was on TV when in my mom's kitchen one time, and then I saw like 10 minutes of it by accident. But I mean, I always knew this sentence where people are like, I'll be back, you know?
Yeah, but like, how could you escape it? Like, that movie played literally on every TV channel that I knew of, like multiple times. Everybody was talking about it when I was a kid.
I don't think my mom let me watch like gun movies as a kid. She would
Okay,
not
it's about
watch
the violence.
it. Yeah, I don't think she would let me watch that. And then I also don't think I was drawn towards it. Like I never thought like, oh, I should really watch Terminator. Like I don't even think I knew what it was about. Like
I mean, nobody did, because I think that was pretty revolutionary for that time.
yeah, but like
All
even
the
10
special
years
effects
later,
and-
after they have like 10 episodes of it now, I never was like, yeah, let's watch Terminator. You know, I watched The Bourne Identity and I thought that was great.
So it was really the Netflix movie that made you a fan of Arnold.
Well, it started before that. It started when we were in India 2 months prior to that, and we didn't know what to watch, and we watched Fubar.
Fubar. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Effed up beyond any recovery or something.
Recognition? I don't know. I don't know what
this
Fubar stands
show.
for.
And
But I remember watching a few episodes of that.
And I just felt like it was such a comforting show. I was like, oh, I like that. And then I was like, wait, this is Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know? I thought it was really comforting, but we didn't really want to watch the rest of it. Then we watched the documentary, and I was like, wow, this made me feel so good. This just gave me like it's like the clouds opened up in my world. And then he
Descended from heaven.
He descended from heaven into my living room. No, then he published his autobiography, and I immediately bought it and I started listening to it. And then you remember how
I
I like
remember.
rolled my
So
ankle.
when Summer was listening to the autobiography, it was, I think it was an ebook, right?
It was an audible, like yeah, like
Yeah,
an
right.
audiobook, yeah.
See, because I'm not used to ever listening to
saying
an audiobook, I
ebook,
keep
Grandpa.
referring to as ebook.
You're the actual grandpa.
So, anyways, when Summer was listening to the audiobook, she would talk about it all the time. Like, we would be having dinner and she would talk about it. We'll be just talking before going to bed and she would talk about it. We'll be like, we'll just wake up and do yoga. After yoga, she'll talk about it.
It's like,
And apparently, the book was super positive and uplifting.
yeah. I mean, you listened to some parts of it, right?
I
So,
did.
like,
That was good.
I
That
rolled my
was-
ankle and then I had to like sit the whole time and I was really sad because it was 2 days before like a flight and I was really scared like how am I gonna do the flight. And I listened to Arnold nonstop, like everywhere at the airport, in bed, like going like with my suitcases. I had nonstop Arnold in my head. I think I listened to nearly every podcast episode he did. Yeah.
I have to say, like, when I listened to the audiobook,
Yeah.
it was really uplifting and inspiring.
Yeah.
And it felt like Arnold was right there,
Right?
like in
Yeah.
your head. Like,
That's-
like he was there, like guiding you through
Yeah.
the journey and like consoling you and
Yeah.
and I don't know how they did that.
I-
I wonder if it was like if he was sitting in a recording
He
studio
did it at home
and if he
with
was
his
just
mini
like reading
pig around, or like with his pig and like his animals
he?
around. That's what he says. Yeah,
so he was just like reading it and then
Mm-hmm.
they recorded it.
yeah, and
But
it
it
didn't
sounds-
feel like reading. It felt like
I
he's
know.
talking to you. It,
It
felt like he's
sounds
sitting
like
there with
he
you and
was
talking.
not reading a script. It
Yeah.
sounds like he was actually having
actually
a
just like-
conversation
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, he's just like, so honey, listen, this is what you gotta do in life. Like, get up your ass. You know, what are you doing? You know, you gotta work for it.
When
It's
I was
like,
the governor of California, I
Yeah.
did this and that.
See, I know you don't want, but it was also hard for me. But what you really need to do is, let me tell you a story.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can tell that it had a really positive effect on you.
Yeah.
And it had a positive effect on me too. I felt really good after listening to a few chapters.
Yeah, yeah. So he is my chosen grandpa, and he will remain
So
in that spot.
have you tried to contact him?
Oh
'Cause-
yeah. So I follow all his socials. I am like constantly checking all his Instagram stories, and I saw all his Instagram posts, and I'm a little upset because
I know.
Yeah.
I know. See, that's something that I think Arnold messed up on.
Oh, I'm upset about two things. I already
You
told
are?
you. Yeah. So
Oh.
the first thing I'm upset about is I did like 3 stories on our Instagram about how much I love Arnold and how much I love his audiobook, and he did not repost it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's mean.
Yeah. Arnold.
Especially like
Grandpa.
your grandpa.
I am the real descendant, you know. You're not doing anything. Think of your family. And he reposted like a lot of people who bought his book and said it's a great book, and then he'll be like, "Thank you for reading." And I'm like,
And I'm pretty sure it's not even him doing it. He probably has got a
social
team.
media team
the
doing
social
that,
media
yeah.
team.
well, so yeah, and then he made this post on his story on Insta where he was like, "I am answering questions on Reddit," and then I went into Reddit and he was there for like an hour. He didn't answer my
Like he
questions.
was personally there.
He was
or...
personally there. He was actually doing video answers to people's questions.
Really?
They were asking for life advice, and he was also typing out questions. And he didn't answer my question. That's fine, Grandpa, but it's okay. I know you read it, and he was answering other people's questions, and I got a lot from that. I was literally feeling again like I'm sitting in his house. And then I watched the Jay Shetty podcast, which is shot.
Oh, I watched that one too.
Yeah.
I think that podcast was about 2 hours, and I
Yeah.
watched 1 full hour of it.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
I watched it all.
If you haven't watched it, you should go check it out. It's
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Jay Shetty and
Arnold.
Arnold, so good. And yeah, and that's shot in his office. And so now I have the image of his office, and I have him speaking. So I'm basically sitting in his office in my mind.
That's it.
Yeah.
But there's another thing that you're pretty upset about.
Yeah. So then I became a member of the Pump Club. So the Pump Club is like Arnold has an app that's called the Pump Club, but he also has like a email subscription where he emails you every day, and he also has a podcast that's called the Pump Club. And so of course I joined all of these things, and I literally like read all of this. I open my emails every day.
When Pump Club came out, I thought that was such a cool thing. It's the best thing ever. I literally believe that like I should join Pump Club as well. Not only like when Summer joined it, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I should do it too.
Yeah.
Just because they said like aren't you get a personal message from Arnold
every day.
every day
Yeah.
in your app.
In
And
your
like
app
he's
and
talking
in your
to
inbox.
you.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a great idea.
I know. And so I've been listening to the podcast, and the podcast is basically like a version, like a spoken version of the email, And then today I was like, let me check out the trailer for his podcast, like the first episode where he explains what it is. And then
And then Summer uncovered,
the truth.
and the truth is pretty
Depressing.
bad. It's
Yeah.
like
Arnold,
it
like,
like
seriously.
destroyed her world.
Yeah. It's
Grandpa,
not cool.
you are destroying the worlds of millions of people.
Yeah, like it's
You
like,
are messing
I know,
with them.
I know you want to be forward and you want to be a cool grandpa, but don't be too cool, okay? So basically I found out he trained an AI with his voice.
Like I think that is pretty progressive for a
Yeah,
grandpa.
that's very
but
advanced, I
I know
know.
it's advanced.
He's on the pulse
but-
of the time, or how do you
But
say?
that's basically joining team with AI to
Yeah.
take over the world.
Because he was a Terminator, he was like a machine, and I think that's the whole fun
I know.
idea behind it. So guys, that you understand, he is not talking the podcast. It's an AI in his voice saying the podcast.
So it's like he generates hours and hours and hours of content
With this AI.
by just probably not even him typing something into the program.
Yeah, see, that's what we
Probably
don't know here. I'm
something-
still holding up to some standard.
Maybe
that-
somebody from his team, maybe it's Arnold typing some inputs into the program.
Yeah.
And then the program
Reads it
generates
out.
that script into his voice.
And it's really scary because it does sound like him.
I was convinced it was him.
Yeah, and I loved listening to it. And now I'm like, I'm not listening to AI grandpa.
So that is something that is like way too advanced even for us.
I don't like it.
Is like you really think you have this personal connection with this person online, and then it turns out to be AI.
We were scammed. Glad
That
we didn't give
is
him our credit card information.
Almost like Terminator
did,
movie
though.
in real life.
Yeah.
It's Terminator taking over our life.
I think he wants to be really progressive, but like the reason why I like listening to his podcast is because I want to see how he thinks. Like I want to pick his brain. I want to know what he thinks about things.
I mean, maybe the things that the AI is saying
He
are
writes it.
things I mean, maybe there is a chance that maybe that's stuff that he's thinking about.
Yeah, but then
But the personal trust is broken.
yeah, I also felt like, bro, he's grinding hard. He's like doing an episode a day. I'm like, that man is so busy. I'm so proud of you, Grandpa. You're like 75, I think, and you're doing an episode for me every day. Like, it's like my friend sending me a voicemail every day.
And I think a lot of humans listen to things like this because of that personal connection.
Yeah.
They want to feel like, okay, I'm part of something that's bigger than me, and like I'm part of something that's personal, like somebody's actually talking to me.
Yeah, Arnold is actually giving me life advice. He's telling me if I should eat more pea protein or not.
I know.
And why I should like get out of bed in the morning and all that stuff. And now it's like an AI voice.
So I wonder if when people sign up for this, if this is shown up front that this is actually a machine speaking.
He says it in the trailer.
trailer.
But I mean, I usually don't listen to
I didn't
podcast
listen to the
trailers.
trailer.
Me neither.
When the Pump Club came out.
Yeah, me neither. So on that note, I'm a little sad now, but I don't want to make this episode a sad episode.
So the question is he still your grandpa?
He is.
After finding out this thing was an AI.
Yeah, I feel betrayed, but that's, what family does, it
Right.
disappoints you over and over. So it just made it more
So
real.
I think I will just stick to the audiobook.
Me too. And the interviews. The interviews
yeah.
are great. I'm just listening to all the interviews on all the other podcasts that he did.
And also there are tons of interviews on YouTube.
Yeah, which are turned
Video.
into a podcast, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, the video.
And so
I love the videos because you can actually see him and how he
how he speaks.
and-
He's so calm. Like, I love the way how he sits in the chair. He's sitting in very calm ways, and the other interviewers are often having like a very different body language. So I think that's amazing. And I also think it's amazing that he did the full podcast round. Arnold, we definitely think you should come on our podcast too and do an interview.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please come. Don't send the
you
AI.
gotta come to your granddaughter's podcast.
Yeah, it's family. It's a family business, And please bring the pig and the donkey.
Well, I don't know if we have room for the animals
We
here.
live on a farm. We can go visit.
I know, but not in the.
we can go visit.
Okay.
We'll come to his farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So invite us.
Invite us, please. We'll bring self-made cookies for all the animals.
Sounds good.
It just gives me so much joy watching him feed his animals cookies joyfully.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I've
I
seen
don't
clips of it. And I think it was on Instagram. It's just like
Okay.
heartwarming. Yeah.
Okay. I don't spend time on Instagram ever.
Yeah.
So I have not watched the
Yeah,
clip.
I want him to be president now. I really after seeing all that, I'm like, that campaign was great. You have my vote.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So he's using AI to become the president of the United States.
No, I mean, that podcast is not even like what made me think all this. Like his
So it was the audiobook.
It was the audiobook. The audiobook is dope, and then all his interviews that touch upon the audiobooks just really good.
So what do you know about Arnold from all the things you have read about and from watching all his podcasts?
Well, the biggest thing I took away is you got to have a vision, and you got to have a clear vision, and then you have to see that vision in your brain, in your mind, in 3D. You have to see your own face wherever you want it to be.
Yeah, I remember that. So basically he came from from
Basic
nothing,
background,
from
yeah.
nothing basically, and he's a self-built man.
No,
and
he says he's not a self-built
Well,
man.
that's
he
true,
says
that's
everybody
true.
helped him, and he does not want to be a
He
self-made
had
man.
a lot of help,
That's an insult,
but
he says.
he said that he made it happen by visualizing things.
Yeah, keeping his eye on the focus and having a clear focus. And I love that because in Hatha Yoga training, in Hatha Yoga teacher training, we talked a lot about visualization and, in
I
general.
think in yoga in general, you do a lot of visualizing.
Or
and-
they're talking about the importance of it, But then seeing someone actually saying, it just gave me so much
I know,
trust.
and that's crazy. Arnold has nothing to do with Hatha Yoga.
Yeah,
He's a bodybuilder, he's a politician,
And it's so
he's
funny because
actor.
he'll say in the book, it's not vovo, it's
Yeah.
not some religious vovo. I can't do
But
his
he
voice.
really accredits all his success to his ability to visualize
Yeah.
things. And
Yeah.
then he sets out to create them.
Yeah.
But the first step, of
Then
course,
he does the work,
yeah,
but
you
he
got to do the
keeps
work.
The eye on the
But
goal.
the first step before you even think about doing the work is to visualize what you want and where you want to be, how you want to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
very clearly in a lot of detail,
Yeah.
and then making it happen.
I think Arnold just wholeheartedly took away any doubt I've been having so far with the law of attraction. And I don't mean that book necessarily, but I mean the whole thing of you can manifest and create your future. You are the creator of your future.
I
And
know
so-
when you told me about manifestation at first, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And there's
I
a
didn't even
lot
believe it.
of
I told you, but I still did not fully believe it.
there's a lot of videos on YouTube where they're doing vision boards and they call it manifestation.
Yeah.
And just think about it. Just put your focus on it every
Yeah.
day. And I didn't really believe it. And then I saw The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he talked about it, how he would wake up at 3 a.m. every day, and then like before he even does the workout, he will focus on what he wants to create. He will focus on his vision.
Yeah, Will Smith, and I think like so many other people suddenly like now we found all these bits and pieces where
And
they're
Jim
like,
Carrey.
yeah, oh, Jim Carrey, that was it, right? He basically created the whole thing, and Jim Carrey keeps saying, "It is real. I manifested my life," and everybody's like, "Yeah, but that guy's kind of cuckoo. He lost
And
his
you look at
marbles."
all these successful people who are actually saying like, yeah, like you have to have a clear vision. You
Yeah.
need to imagine yourself,
Yeah.
like where you want to be, how you want to be, what you want to be doing,
Yeah.
and then like you can make it happen, or it can happen.
I am fully 1000% convinced now. I have been listening so many times to the video by Sadhguru about how to manifest your future. And yes, I think I was like 90% thinking, oh, I think that's true. And then my favorite book before the Arnold Schwarzenegger Be Useful book, his book is called Be Useful, was Karma by Sadhguru.
Karma by Sadhguru.
And there he basically says how to create the life you want, how to create your own life. So I listened to that up and down, up and down, up and down, and still I was like, yeah, maybe I was thinking you need to have like special abilities. You need to be like, I don't know. I did not believe it 100%. Now I am convinced. I know it. I know it's for real. And that's what Arnold did. He wiped out any doubt I had about the power of visualizing your goals.
What has that changed within you? That like, do you do something different now? Like, do you have a routine for it, or?
I make sure to keep my mind off things I don't want to create. First of all,
Right. So the first thing is to identify things that you might be unconsciously creating or focusing your energies on and the mind on, and then like not giving that the attention and focus.
I think before I would give a lot of attention to things just out of habit or just because my brain would go there, like my mind would go there, it would wander there, and I'd be like, that is so annoying. I'm so annoyed that this happened and la 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 la. While seeing now that but that's what's in my head the whole time, that's what I'm putting my mind onto. So I try not to do that, and when I do it, I think like, why am I thinking about that? Like, that's stupid. Like that has no importance in my life. And then
And then the second thing to do is, I guess the most important thing to do is to identify what you actually want. And then like clearly visualizing it in all its detail and in all its glory.
And making it a habit, and it's like hurting. It's like
I feel like when I try to visualize something, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I cannot hold that
attention.
vision for 1 second. Like maybe I have it for like a fraction of a second, and then it gets all kinds of blurry and all kinds of distorted, and I have to like really bring my focus and attention back to it. And I think it's really like a muscle. You gotta like work on it. You gotta train your mind to imagine and like hold the vision that you want to hold. And it's not an easy thing at all. I think it will take me like at least like a few more weeks before I can actually have a vision, because I've been trying since I listened to Arnold. I've been trying to create that mental vision, but it's really that I have not put any work towards that.
And it's like milking. Let me say it. It's like milking. When we first came here, when we first came to the farm that we are at currently, where we have goats, we learned I learned, you haven't done it yet, but I learned how to milk goats. And so in the beginning, it's not like a super complicated thing. And it's not like you need to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger to milk a goat. But you have to build a certain muscle in your lower arm and your thumbs and your fingers that you usually do not use. And I started milking the goat and I felt like my arm was falling off. And it's not like I'm lifting 500 pounds. It's just like that muscle is like so hard to find. And that feeling, it's like a subtle feeling of like, oh, this is how I do it. Like I can't even describe it to someone or teach it to someone. I can like teach it, but then still they don't immediately are able to do it. They also need to go through it. And that's how it
So
feels.
did it get easy after some time?
Oh, I'm a milking pro. I'm a machine. Bzz, 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 bzz.
Okay, so I think that's what has to or needs to happen
Yeah,
with
you need
my
to be very ambitious about
visualization
it.
is that I need to practice it, and then over time it will get effortless, hopefully. I think I'm into like maybe like 5 or 6 days in now.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe once I do it for much longer, it will get easier, and it's very easy, like
Yeah.
breathing, like how we are just
Yeah.
able to breathe all the time. Maybe I can put my mind and visualize things concretely.
Yeah. And it's really crazy because so many people have said it before that they manifested it, or you gotta manifest it, you gotta visualize, you gotta see it. You know, in our life, we've listened to gurus and we've listened to self-help coaches and we've watched like famous people, whatnot, who said it. And I was always like, yeah, man, I should do that. You know, it's like probably really good. But there was something holding me back. There was something within me thinking, I don't know.
Yeah, and also there's just all kinds of distraction, you know.
Yeah.
You open your phone, there's like all kinds of interesting videos about different topics.
I
There's
don't know.
news.
I don't get
there's
very distracted
well,
by that.
you get distracted with Instagram.
No, I get
You can
distracted with
spend
people. You get
Hours and hours on Instagram.
Not hours. No, that's not true. My
Maybe
screen
half
ti-
an hour.
Yeah, half an hour and max. I get distracted with social interactions. It's like this person said that, and then that person said this, and then I thought that. Like that's what distracts me.
Well, yeah. So that any kind of distraction really
Yeah.
is basically taking your energy and focus off
Yeah.
of the things that
Someone-
you would want to visualize
Yeah.
and create.
Someone will be like, I will be making like pasta with tomato sauce, and then someone will be like, I don't like tomatoes, and that will distract me. I'm like, oh no, does that person think I did that on purpose to tomato poison her or whatnot? You know, like these things I see are very distractive to me. Like, yeah, my mind can. That's what I always think
So
about. us.
maybe it has to do with, for me, then I need to free my mind from all these.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe I'll be able to
Yeah.
visualize much more effortlessly.
Totally, because you're on the easy side. So you can just leave me somewhere and I will watch movies in my head. Like I will just stare at something and like
Really?
my mind will entertain me for like until the end
Like
of eternity.
you can watch videos in your mind?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I'm always so mad at you that you're on your phone because you will play phone games, you will look into apps, you
Wait,
will watch
so like
news.
your mind can
I don't need that shit.
So like
Mm-hmm.
you can create scenes in your mind?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need anything. I don't need a TV. I don't need nothing. I can just happily sit here and watch things in my head all day long.
What?
Yeah, that's a problem. Because it's on. It's like in my mind, I have 24/7 Netflix.
Like what's that from? Is that stuff that you have thought up before,
No.
or are you instantly making it happen? Or
I think it's because like
this is just like automatically
it's been
playing?
always like that. Like probably because I've been isolated as a kid. I didn't go to kindergarten and I didn't have neighbors' kids.
So like
So I
what
was just
kind of
sitting in the garden and imagining things in my head nonstop.
so it's your imagination.
It's my imagination that's
So
like overly active.
what do you imagine? Like is it nature or like people talking? What do you imagine?
Well, I don't know. I remember as a kid when I would go to bed, I would have this child's bed, you know, with the wood rods.
Is it a bunk bed?
No, like just like a baby cod.
Okay.
Like a cod. You know how it has like these sticks, right? So that the baby doesn't roll out.
Yes.
And I would imagine this as a VHS cassette shelf where every
Okay.
in between space between two
Has-
rods has a DVD, has like a VHS,
cassette.
a cassette, and then I would look at it before, because my parents would always put me in bed really early because they wanted to watch movies and be without me. And so then I was like in my bed, I'm like, staring at the wall. So then I am looking at this, and these are different movies I could watch right now in my head. So every night I'll pick one, and then I'll watch it until I fall asleep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a very vivid imagination, and that's a problem.
How is that a problem? I feel like if you have that, you must be able to create things because you're constantly creating things.
I'm constantly creating things, but it's not like I'm constantly thinking, oh, now this happens, now this happens, now this happens. It's kind of like a TV running.
So it's like an unconscious TV running. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I have some control of. I sound like I'm in like a psychological interview here. She's
Well,
got
I
issues.
just didn't know that was
That's
happening
why-
within your mind.
That's why I never watch. Do I read news?
No,
Do I watch a lot of videos?
no.
Do I like scroll through Instagram a lot?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, only since I downloaded it because we wanted to post there. Yeah, that's a little bit, but like I don't do a lot of things that you like to do, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't need any stimulus. I can create it all in my head.
That's interesting. So, okay. So for you, it's an unconscious process. So to make that conscious is your effort.
Yes, to see what I want to see there.
Okay. And you're saying that's hard?
Yeah, it's like the milking muscle.
Okay. So you still have to work on it. See, the thing is,
Yeah.
I don't create anything in my mind.
Then
I
why do
feel
you
like
want
that's
to
a
look
problem.
at things?
I'm looking at like I read a lot of news. I watch a lot of there are a bunch of regular YouTube channels that I watch every day, just because
To have something in there?
yeah, because I have not trained my mind to run things inside,
Yeah.
to create things like how you have. It sounds like you have an internal entertainment machine.
Yeah,
and I don't
have like
that.
Netflix, Apple TV, everything in there.
See, I don't have that, so I'm actually watching YouTube or Netflix, so or reading news to like have something in there.
Yeah, I feel like that's like it's like almost too much for me. I'm like, don't add any more movies to my library, please. I'm like, we're full, disc full.
So in a way, I'm trying to even start creating it in my mind, create things in my mind.
And I am
whereas
just
you've
like
been doing it for a
hazardly-
while.
I've been hazardly creating a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the effort. So I see.
Yeah.
So maybe at some point we will both be good at this. And
I see so many things in my life where I was like, oh, yeah, I know how I created that. Or also good things. I'm like, wow, yeah, I created that. I thought it would turn out differently, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think at certain points in my life, I've created things in my mind too. I've just seen things. I don't think I created them. I mean, maybe I did, but just like sometimes I get some clear like scenes or clear visions, and then like later in life I'm like, shit, is this because I had that vision?
Because you were like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I don't know how to make that a conscious process yet. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to consciously create
If
what I
I
want.
say something like, imagine if I say, oh, there's this like big, huge strawberry cake and it's like dripping with like strawberry sauce and it has a lot of whipped cream on it. Do you see that in your head when I'm saying that?
I tried to, but when you said strawberry sauce dripping, I just saw like honey dripping. I because I don't know how to
strawberry
create strawberry sauce in my mind. I'm creating honey in my mind.
Honey, you're going in the wrong direction. See, you need to hang out with Grandpa. That's why
With
I like.
Arnold?
Yeah, I want to hang out with Grandpa Arnold. To come back to that in his
I
house.
agree.
and,
I
like-
think that is what I think Sadhguru said also, that if you cannot even create what you want in your mind,
Yeah,
how
will
are you
create
going
it
to
in real life?
create it in real life?
Yeah.
So I think that is something I've really not been paying attention to, and I need to now
Yeah.
to really be able to create things in my mind first.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I can make that happen in the world as well.
That's why I'm always so careful with what I consume and watch and stuff, because you put it in there, you put it in my mind, it will keep playing. It will keep playing for a week, variations of it and stuff. So
And that is so fascinating, That's like a whole like new like rabbit hole, I feel like the
entertainment center in my head.
well, yeah, just all the things the mind can do.
Yeah.
I had no idea that like your mind was functioning in such a different way than mine until we started recording this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. Yeah.
I think that's great. Very, very deep subject, the human mind and its capabilities.
Yeah. And how Arnold made the clouds lived and
Lift.
the clouds go to the side.
Are they bad clouds?
Yeah, like dark clouds, and then he like
Okay, so Arnold was like a sunshine,
like the wind blowing them away.
wind blowing them away.
Yeah. This is like a very comforting thought. And I think it's amazing that he's doing this. I love that. I love that he's using his publicity and that people know his face and that people want to listen to him to do something good.
I know. I mean,
He doesn't have to do that.
I know. He could just keep all the secrets to his success
Yeah.
and
Which most people do.
Just
Yeah.
give it to his family or just give it to his
Or
close
give it to
friends
no one,
or whoever just wants to listen to him
Yeah.
in a close circle
Yeah.
and not reveal it to the world. But I feel like that is such a good thing that a successful
Yeah.
person is coming out and saying, okay, this is how I got successful and here's how you can make the same thing happen for you.
Yeah.
I think that is incredibly inspiring and wonderful.
I love it.
Because I know there's a lot of
A
societies.
lot of people who don't do it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is in a lot of societies, that is not the case. Like, successful people just hoard their success. Like, they keep it within a close circle, keep it a secret so that
Yeah.
nobody comes out like them.
Yeah.
Comes up in life like them.
Yeah. For example, you know how I love Emma Chamberlain, and she has a huge coffee brand. And I would love for her to share how to make a successful brand like this. Like, what are the ins and outs? Like, what do you do? How do your meetings look like? How do you find the right coffee bean? How do you do coffee tastings? How do you decide on which brand color? But I've never found that anywhere from her. So I feel like, that would be something I would love to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, couple things. One, she's still like really young. I feel like she's not maybe at the level of success that Arnold is in.
Because
And
he did it all already, and now he's like,
yeah, Arnold is
grandpa.
basically like retired, and now he's coming out and sharing all the details of
Yeah.
how his mind works, how he did everything that he did, how he became a big bodybuilder, then how he transitioned into becoming an actor and then to politician. Now he's sharing all the details of his life.
Yeah.
Maybe when Emma Chamberlain
Is
is 70
75.
years old,
yeah.
then she will reveal it.
Which then I will
As
probably
well.
be 80, and then I can start my coffee brand.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Are you only 5 years older than Emma Chamberlain?
I don't want to know. We are the same age.
Okay.
Me and her, we are one. Yeah. No, I love her too. She should also come to our podcast.
I think she will.
Yeah.
She will. And
Then we can talk about that.
and when we are 80 years old, we will reveal the secrets of how we built this great podcast empire
Multi-million-dollar
and
empire.
media company and made billions of dollars with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing. Everybody who is very successful in life, please help make other people be successful
Yeah.
and make their lives easier and spread prosperity and abundance and
love and joy and light.
all the good things.
Yeah.
Because that's what this life is all about.
Yeah.